What's up, everybody? Back with another video here. This is going to be hopefully around an 8 to 12 minute video. It's going to go over the Pro Products radiant heat panels and installation on a this will be on a 4 foot by 2.5 foot boa cage. First of all, let me start by saying customer service from Pro Products was phenomenal. Bob with Pro Products answered every time I called him. I actually needed to have the shipping held up for a little while. They were actually able to pick a day out and tell me it would be there on that day, so it didn't get rained on when I was out of town and stuff like that. So I already recommend it. I haven't used the product yet, but I'm going to show you all how to install it. Talked about probe placement and show you some of the instructions. So let's get it done. Okay, so real quick, what's in the box? 2 bolts. 2 nuts, not screws. These are the clips that go into here once it's all said and done, once it goes through. So these will drop in like this, and they will drop all the way through until they come out the other side on both, and then you'll follow that up behind, but we'll go through that. The power cord is already attached. We'll go through how to attach this to the power cord and then plug it into the thermostat. You also will have, this is directions, some other advertisements, and then the directions for the super plug. I just want to go through what was in the box real quick. Quick disclaimer, I have talked to Bob. There's no real right way to do this or dead hard fast rule on how to do this, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it to make sure that the temperatures are going to be the best on the hot spot and on the cool side. So I want you to know that I've talked to the guy at Pro Products about this at length. So this is going to be 100% within their recommendations. All right. Next thing we're going to go over is how to measure and cut the, but drill the holes for the heat panel cord, probe placement, as well as the for the bolts. All right, we have it on top of the cage currently. The reason why I have it on top, essentially, actually, I'm going to flip this because the rough side goes down in the pan. Once you get it in, the rough side will go down in here. The rough side always go down. If not, you're just going to heat the top of the enclosure. And this says all this in directions. This is not really going to matter because the hole is going to be in the same spot. But I'm going to essentially center it where I want to, where I want the panel to go, and what Bob from Pro Products told me. Lengthways across the environment and about split the middle of the cage to make sure that you're essentially heating this one side, which gives you a gradient all the way across. So what I'm going to do, I don't know if you have a pin or whatever, this screwdriver's not going to, well, it'll probably work. You can take it, and I'm just going to make an indentation, but what I'm probably going to do is I'm just going to take my drill bit, which is a 5/32 drill bit, and just go ahead and drill these holes with it centered up. So once I get that done, I'll be back. Sorry, I keep hitting the volume button and it keeps turning off. This is the 5/32 hole that I drilled. The screw holds perfect coming up through there, bolt, whatever you want to call it. Same on this side. So all I'm doing, I'm gonna try to hold this without cutting it off again. I'm taking, as you can tell, the heat panel's holding in just fine. I'm just taking a screwdriver. I wouldn't recommend doing this with a drill until you can find that, because you're gonna end up stripping it. And I'm just literally, sorry guys, the light in here is not the best. You can see the screw, bolt, whatever you want to call it, coming up through. So I'm just going to do that until it's probably about hand tight on my right hand. You can do this with PVC, wood, whatever. And then go over here and do the same to this side. Okay. All right, now that these are through, literally, let's take the nut, which you don't even really need it because of the way I drilled the hole at 5/32. It's perfect. It's tight. This is literally just gonna hold it in place. I know Animal Plastics, when they send the tee out, they essentially put these into a recess and just grind them down. You could do that. You could take an angle grinder or something, or a big pair of snips and cut these off, but I'm not terribly worried about it because there's probably gonna be a cage that goes on top of this soon. Okay, so as you can see, heat panel is in there. It's nice and secure. No worries there. All right, next thing would be to take the caps
and put the caps where you put the bolt through. Pop those in. That's not seating that great, but just going by the directions. Pop that in. Oh, that one's seated perfect. I'm gonna have to pull that one, guys, and reseat it, but you see the idea. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. I wanted to show you, I drilled a 1/4 inch hole right here for this cord to go through. So I'm literally just gonna feed that back through there. And then when I come back, I'll show you exactly how you put the clip on and plug it into the thermostat and talk about probe placement. Okay, so this couldn't really be a ton easier. I'm gonna try to do this with one hand. I've already got this fed through here. It's fed through the back. As you can tell, it's good through there. 1/4 inch, I don't know. It's to be honest with you, it's probably a little, 1/4 inch is probably a little small. I didn't want it to flop down though. It's just kind of difficult to feed through there. A little bigger than 1/4 inch probably wouldn't hurt nobody. But, so literally, I'm trying to show you how easy I can do this with one hand. You take this, maybe not. Pull this tab, push this tab, open this up, all right? I have my tripod. And all you have to do is literally feed the cord. Sorry guys, I'm here by myself. I don't have my son to hold the camera. Sorry, I keep hitting this stupid volume up button on my phone and it's turning it down. So literally those spikes right there are going to puncture this, and all it tells you to do in the instructions, sit it down on the table. You don't need a pair of pliers or anything. Push, 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 push until that flap comes back through. Probably gonna need 2 hands. Let me see if I can sit this up right here. No, of course it won't. Maybe it will. Push. Maybe I will need a pair of pliers. All right, there it goes. Pushed. Now this is locked into here. Can't open. Okay? It's good to go. All right, next thing we'll talk about is thermostat placement. All right, let's talk about thermostat placement. For this enclosure, I'm using a VE100. So literally all I've done, I've plugged the VE100 into the wall down there. I'll clean all these cables up in a second. And I've plugged the radiant heat panel into here. This is your thermostat. Don't put one of these, don't ever put heat on an animal unless you have a thermostat, ever. Ever, ever, ever. Always have a thermostat. Okay, so this is up and running. It reset it to probably a probe of 85. But yeah, it's just because it's sitting out in the snake room. So here's what I'm gonna do with this for now. Bob at Pro Products has told me, and this is gonna be kind of a discussion, that you kind of got to play with this as far as to get your temperatures exactly where you want them. And I'll tend to agree with him. He erred on the side of, oh, it's going to be just too big. I was going to stick them through the vent holes in the back, but that's going to be just slightly, this, if you can tell, this is just too big to go through until I can figure out where to do it. Now, where I'm going to drill a small hole and put this first, I'll take you back over here to the heat panel and show you. No, I don't keep tools in with the snakes. So the heat panel's here. It's gonna create a gradient across the cage. I tend to agree with him when he says that the probe should go near the cool side of the enclosure. The reason why I say it should go near the cool side of the enclosure is because it acts like a safety switch, which makes total sense to me. The health, safety, and well-being of my animals is paramount. So if you put it over here, and for some reason this panel were to go completely wonky, or something, and we're to heat this to 125 degrees. Over here, at least you have it to where it's a safety mechanism, and if it, on this side, it can only get to a certain temperature. Because the gradient you want, this is for a boa, so I'm typically gonna have her her hot spot anywhere from 88 to 91. And then the gradient's going to come hopefully over here. I keep this room at about 77, 78 degrees during the day and 73 at nights. However, with the heat panels and the tape on my racks, it stays, all of them stay typically about 77 to 80 on the cool side. So we're gonna use the cool side as a buffer. So let me see if I can get this probe over here and I'll be right back. All right, so another 1/4 inch hole. And if you can tell, the probe is right here. Now what I'm gonna do is I want this probe to sit essentially like this. I'm gonna put a piece of tape in the back. This is on the cool side. I'm gonna go with Bob's recommendation. If not, all I'm gonna literally do is just work my way from, I drilled this one in the middle of this. I'm gonna go to the middle of this and just keep going there until I get her basking area perfect and I get her cool side perfect. So guys, that's about it. And girls, I'm sorry, heat panel's on, it's doing its job. I'm gonna let it heat up before I put her back in here. I gotta mist this down because she's in shed. So yeah, comment, ask me any questions, but this came essentially directly from Bob Pro Products, and this thing is up and running. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions.